Good evening, my friends. So, I wanted to touch on a little bit of a philosophy note with you when it comes to tea brewing and tea making. I'm enjoying a nice wild ancient tree white tea with a couple of baby chrysanthemum buds at the bottom. You'll see them in a bit. Um, Concerning teaware, types, clay, all of that stuff, this is a huge, huge market for teaware. If you really want to get into this method of tea brewing, you get some of this nonsense stuff. The aesthetic is not aestheticing right now, but when it comes to the philosophy surrounding teaware, I would give you my honest opinion. And a lot of people are like, "What's your favorite teacup? What's your favorite?" Was interacting with someone at our family gathering yesterday, and he was really interested in seeing me make tea for everybody. And so he was asking, okay, so you told me about all the tea that you have, different types of teas, but what about like teacups? Because I was just brewing in this basic travel set. It is logo stamped. I have no idea what this company is, but I know that it was a really, really good sale discount at, I believe it was like 10, $11 for a set. And so I was not passing up that opportunity. And so I got two of them, right? So I was brewing two sessions at a time using two gaiwans, two different teas. So you could, do a comparison and a tasting side by side of, oh, here's this black tea, but then there's this other black tea. Anyway, when it comes to enjoying my tea, it honestly just diverts back to simplicity. Porcelain is really good, and this is like a lot of people would say, oh, it's a fancy. Again, it's branded, it's stamped. But if you were to just look at the shape and everything like that, all right, looking at the cups and like, oh, it's a fancy porcelain set, and some of my family members are like, oh, it's pretty fancy and dainty, and this is the lowest quality porcelain you can get. It is genuine porcelain, yes. You can hear that ringing, but it's not singing porcelain, If I were to show you these cups, and you probably can't see it here, but there's a little bit of unevenness at the bottom. Some of the rims aren't fully straight. I believe one of these has like a dip in the rim. You can kind of see it. I don't know if the camera will compensate, but it's not fully straight. I think you can see it there. It kind of curves down a little bit. So the rim is not exactly perfect. There's a little bit, if I catch it in the reflection just right, you can see there's a little bit of a dimple right there. And I know that another one of these cups, if you catch it in the reflection, you can kind of see the unevenness of it, but it's really subtle. So the philosophy behind which tea culture you're going after or which tea culture you're following, learning about, especially with the Japanese, right, the parameters of that, but even just in different regions of China. This is a specific regional style where you're supposed to serve between 3 cups. Now, the 3 cups do represent and mean something. I'm sorry, I forget, but let's make it aesthetically pleasing by making everything even here. And so, you're supposed to enjoy, again, one steep at a time, and then you pour it between these 3 cups. The simplicity is all you need for your teaware. So it doesn't matter if you have this gaiwan, if you have a gaiwan that is like this, that is Jinjan style. A lot of people always say, oh, well, this will make the tea taste better. And then I have more shiny gaiwans, $100 gaiwans. This whole set was $10, $11. And honestly, I think that if you cannot create a good cup of tea with the simplest of teawares, even something as simple as just pouring leaves into a cup and drinking from that same cup that the tea leaves are sitting, then you are taking the wrong approach to consuming tea, to drinking tea. This is a travel set. This is what I take with me on the road. And I find myself wanting to brew more with this session because, one, I haven't used this set in quite a while. I have so many gaiwans. I have so many teapots that I use. But going back again to the basics, this is what I truly enjoy. And honestly, if I were to recommend a starter gaiwan, it would be one that you can find on Amazon for around $9 right now. And it is really simple, it is really basic, but what I love about this beginner set is the non-glossiness of the outside coating. It makes it more stable for you to have a firmer grip. It is not slippery like how this one is. You can see how shiny it is. So people might be intimidated with, a set like this, even though it is fairly cheap. Something like this, though, with the saucer at the bottom, again, this porous, rougher outer shell is going to be much more, you're going to feel more confident in gripping this. But again, here's another example in that this is not 100% symmetrical, right? It's kind of wonky. The lid doesn't rest in there perfectly. And I think even the rim on this is kind of like lopsided a little bit. These are just small details, right? This is mass factory produced. But the inner white coating of the clay is going to be able to show you the color of your liquor, your tea, so you know how long it's been sitting in there. The darker it gets, and then, okay, it's time to pour it out, right? And then you get into more parameters of like, okay, what's the design and what's the shape? This one you can see has a very sharp corner here, which doesn't, like, it's more convex on the inner walls. That sharp edge is mostly on the outside. So even though it has a sharp edge on the outside, it's more curved and smooth on the inside. And so for me, I prefer my gaiwans to have that perfect convex bowl shape here. And it's just for the water flow from the inside, so that when you're pouring it, it flows better on that curvature. Again, these are just design preferences that you get into the more niche and the more like into teaware and tea brewing that you get to. But this is the number one thing that I could recommend for any person who wants to try brewing inside of a gaiwan. Just type in gaiwan, Gaiwan, into Amazon, and this is literally the first or the second listing you will see. There's a brown one, there's a red one, there's a black one, I believe. But with the 3 pieces, you don't have to worry about holding the rim. You can just pick it up by the saucer and the lid, and then you can pour your tea out. So simplicity is always going to be best, and I think I'm going to be brewing with this set a little bit longer now in my afternoon tea sessions. By pouring into these 3 cups, you're allowing your tea to cool down to room temperature a lot quicker, easier for you to enjoy. Because even though you brew the tea, when you pour it out, you need to have the temperature come down in order to adequately taste the proper notes. You don't want to singe your taste buds. And so as I'm rotating through all of these 3 cups, this is so good, by the way, I can already immediately begin my second infusion. The chrysanthemum is so sweet. You get a little bit of a watermelon rind / cucumber taste, freshness with the white tea leaves. But the chrysanthemums, once they begin to open up. So simplicity is the one thing. And I know a lot of you guys are like, that doesn't look so simple. But when it comes to, again, the material of the teaware, this is an $11 set. And I can pour just as good of a cup of tea than in my $120 gaiwan. My $200 gaiwan, actually. I have a $200 gaiwan that I hardly show in any of these videos, but I do have one. It's like, you don't need a $200 gaiwan to enjoy tea. Just that I happen to appreciate art and ceramics. That is the only reason why I have that $200 gaiwan. You do not need one to enjoy good tea.